that I have my color channels starting to work together, I need to start to explore a system that allows me to have the color on the top of the shell be different than the color of the bottom. And my medium, my tool in which I'm going to do this entire separation between these color layers is going to be a whole series of polygonal masks. And they continue to be a great tool in helping us craft the final result. Because I want to have a whole series of color layers, these guys in here, create the illusion for the top, and then I need to have another one down here on the bottom. And actually, I've already colored it. There it is. It's just kind of this nice little yellow. So I need to have some sort of mask that separates the top and the bottom. Now, I could go in there with a whole series of paint strokes and paint all this information in here. However, that's going to take a lot of time, and I don't have that kind of time in front of me. So we're going to use the polygonal masking system to very quickly define the separation between these two material groups. So I have 3 layers here that are responsible for creating the shades of brown that you see on the top of the turtle shell. And I've placed them inside of a folder, and I'm going to mask that folder. So all of its children, all of its participants, are going to be masked out as well. All right, let's toggle the mask back on. So it's a black mask, so it's deactivated the contents of the folder itself. Let's add in a paint effect on the mask itself so we can easily go in and non-destructively paint in the mask itself. And we're going to go over into our toolbar and activate the polygonal masking system. It's this guy right here. This is the only tool inside of Substance Painter that really exposes the geometry. When I was sculpting this turtle shell, I tried my best to have a row of polygons right here along the edge, the rim, define the top and the bottom. It gives me a nice edge that kind of separates it visually, but I can also use that as part of my texturing system. The polygonal masking tools can allow me to go in and very quickly grab polygons. So we can do individual faces, or triangles, excuse me. This next one is our polygonal fill. This one's going to look at mesh objects. So it's going to look at all of the contiguous meshes, or the contiguous faces on a piece that are welded together. And this last one are the UV islands. Now for this particular one, if we explore the contents of our UV map itself, it may give us a good result. Let's find out. At the very least, it could also allow us to explore the transition. Yeah, and when I UV'd this, if you look at the details here, you can actually start to see the separation between the top and the bottom. So this could work, but I think really the best solution is to use my polygonal fill. So I want to fill my mask with white pixels, and I'm going to do all of this inside of my texture viewport. And as a reminder, to get into the texture view or your UV map view inside of Substance Painter, you can hit F3 on your keyboard. You can also go up into this pull-down menu at the top of the screen, which allows you to transition back and forth between the 3 different views of our object. Okay, so there's the 2D view of our UV maps. You can also do the exact same thing inside the 3D view. One of the things that I find real frustrating about the 3D view is that it does what's called a select through. So whenever you click on a polygon, it actually selects through the polygons that are behind it. You don't get that in the 2D view, so it's a little bit faster to work and create all of your masks. All right, so I'm on my paint layer. I'm painting with white. So what I should see here when I start to click is brown. The goal is brown in this entire section. And I got my symmetry on, so I'm doing both sides simultaneously. And it goes pretty fast, luckily. This isn't a super high resolution mesh, so it should go pretty fast. And if you make a mistake like I just did, hitting the X key will swap your color value from white to black. It's a toggle. Let's go back to white with the X key one more time. I appreciate that the lovely developers down at Adobe have made some keyboard shortcuts the same between Photoshop and Substance Painter. The X key also swaps the color values for your foreground and background color in Photoshop as well. There's a little Photoshop tip for you today. Bet you didn't think you were going to get a Photoshop tip. Now I'm going to continue doing this. I got a lot of work in front of me. I'm not going to do the entire mask. In addition to individually selecting polygons, you can left click and drag and do entire big sections. So that's pretty neat as well. You gotta be a little bit more careful when you're doing the left click and drag. Even if the corner of the box touches a polygon, it's going to mask that polygon. So be careful with it. It is sensitive, but with some practice, I know you can do it. I'm going to do just a little bit more here, because I want to show you the next step in this process. So in every sense, we're interactively determining where the brown color layers for the top of the shell are going to show up in the mesh. And that's a good place to end it. Okay, I'm going to hit the 1 key on the top row of my keyboard to activate my brush tool and return to the 3D view of my turtle. And you can see the result that we're getting here. Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool. It's actually working out quite well. However, we have a couple problems in here that we need to resolve. We need to get rid of some of this real odd texture stretching. There's one polygon in here, or maybe a couple polygons, yeah, that are not giving me the crisp illusion that we're after. And we're getting some jagged edges that's coming from the resolution of the image map itself. This is a 4K image map, and even then we're just going to get some stair-stepping. If we were to make this an 8K image map, a lot of this small stair-stepping that you're seeing down in here, there you go, now you can see it, would start to get minimized. But I don't want a texture map that's 8,000 pixels by 8,000 pixels. So we need to look a slightly different option on how we can go in and start to modify and change the behavior of all of these objects. And we'll talk about that in a later video. It's pretty neat. Let me hit the X key and fix some of these mistakes here real fast. But this is how I started to separate the tops and the bottom. Just a simple poly mask that allows me to very quickly go in and create the separation in color values between the top shell and the bottom shell.